Welcome diecast fans, and welcome back to Frank the Guru Gibbs. Oh, thanks mate, it's good to be back, and thanks to Big Nev for standing in for me. I'm sure he can come back another time if I need to go on leave again. The chances of him coming back, let me just say, how many F's are there in the word way? I think you might need a holiday spinners because there's no F in way. Exactly my point. Oh right, I see what you mean. Just like last week, this is the battle to the last car standing. We've got 8 Outlaws and 8 Maverick Customs battling it out to see who's going to be last car standing and take it home for built versus bought. So there's 2 drivers from each team going at it until there's no more replacements, and then it's down to the final cars. That's right, if a driver crashes off track or they're the last one in, they get replaced. So it's a pretty high stakes game overall then. Very much so, and the wannabes almost lost it last week, so hopefully the Outlaws can keep it together. Well, they've never let us down yet, but of course those Maverick Customs are looking pretty sharp on the track, and we know that they're quick too. They certainly are. Alright, let's get out to the first race. We got Brian and Grandma representing for the bought team, and it's Angry Bird and Nemo for the Outlaws. And it's Nemo first down through the dipper, but Larry moves into first place, Brian in behind. Nemo and Grandma battling in for 3rd and 4th. Oh, it looks like Grandma's been taken out, and Larry and Nemo going to try and take out Brian as well. Oh, Larry up the hill first. Brian trying to get the pass on, gets through the inside lane. A beautiful drive there. Gets right up the inside of Larry, but Larry not going to let him go. Chases him all the way to the finish, but can't quite get there. But that means Grandma's eliminated, unfortunately. Very disappointing for Grandma. I know she had high hopes there, but she gets replaced. And next up, in her place, we've got Ezra Dilly. And Nemo again, first into the dipper, but Brian now into first place. Larry and Nemo battling for second. Larry just holds on as he closes right up on Brian, and Ezra bringing up the rear. He is going to have to put a move on if he wants to get past those tough Outlaws. Now Larry not going to be able to pull an overtake maneuver here, but oh, he is right up on Brian's bumper. Nemo close in behind, and it seems like we've lost Ezra somehow. But Brian holds on for first, Angry Bird in second, and Nemo in third, and we've lost Ezra Dillon at tuck and roll corner. It looks like he just ran out of the beans going up the hill. You see the other boys go up real quick there, and then Ez just pulls over and flags it for some reason. So Ezra now gets replaced by Hugh Mann in the yellow Maverick. And Nemo again leads down the dipper, but Brian is going to pull into first place, Nemo into second. Oh, but he goes sideways, he crashes, and he's blocked the track for the other 3 drivers. That is catastrophic as Brian is just walking away with this one. Oh no, Brian crashes. Brian blows it completely, and he's going to hand the race to the other 3 drivers because they're still on their wheels. I really thought Nemo had sabotaged everybody there, but luckily for them, Brian KOs himself going up the hill, flips over through tuck and roll corner. Oh, in fact, he flipped over going up the hill somehow. I don't know how he did that. But he now gets replaced by Uncle Baz. And the Outlaws, oh, the Outlaws were doing great, but you just totally jinxed them. My bad. Now Hugh Mann and Uncle Baz are out into the lead. Uncle Baz are forming a blockade, so Larry can't get past. But Nemo is out. He's crashed at the start. So if these 3 drivers can bank, whoa, Uncle Bazza just went flying there. So that's another bought car out, and we've only lost 1 Outlaw so far. Hugh Mann, they're keeping it together for the team bought, but Larry crosses for yet another finish, and Uncle Bazza went completely off track there, and unfortunately Nemo flipped himself over right at the start. You'll see on this replay here, he just goes sideways, bounces off both sidewalls, and that was enough to tip him up on his lead. And how about Uncle Bazza here? Oh, Uncle Bazza's always been a loose unit, and he proved it there. Good grief. So Big Cat now steps in for the Outlaws, and Betty Brown steps in for the Mavericks. Betty's slow off the line there, but she's making up time. Big Cat moving into second place, gets past Larry, and a beautiful move. What a overtake down State Highway 1. Muscles right on by Hugh Mann. That was absolutely, oh, and he's completely blowing it. What is he doing? At least Larry's going. Larry now moves back into lead. This race is all over the place. I'm not sure that Big Cat's no guts, no glory move works if it's just all guts and no glory. Look, he's even squashed a couple of spectators. But can we just go back and look at his overtake? Oh yeah, this was a brilliant piece of driving. Look at the way he slips right past Larry, and he just never backed off and muscles right on by Hugh Mann there, and a beautiful overtake to take the lead, but unfortunately he just completely blows it going up the hill. Oh, and I see that spectator was already down, so he didn't squash him, so good news. At least we won't have to clean up blood. He was just having a nap. So with Thunderclaw out, Lando now comes in and jazz and takes up lane number 4. All drivers get away cleanly this time. Betty Brown out to an early lead, but Larry takes back the lead as they hit State Highway 1. Hugh Man and Betty Brown tangling up. That allows Lando and Jazz to catch right up to those two. Larry slowing down through the forestry section for some reason, allows the others to catch up. Is Hugh Man going to be able to get up the inside? No, I don't think he is. No, Larry lucky there. Angry Bird holding off the challenge. But Hugh Man is not going to let it go. Oh, Jazz goes sideways. He corrects it just in time to hold off Betty Brown for that last spot. That means Betty Brown gets eliminated. Yeah, Jazz almost completely blew it there. Got a bit sideways. Betty Brown was flooring it down, but luckily Lando pulled right across in front of it and cut her out and manages to stay on to the next round. So Betty's out, and in comes Willie Wild for Team Maverick. Larry doing just a phenomenal job so far for the Outlaws, but Lando and Jazz is going to take the lead onto State Highway 1, but he goes sideways. He sees a squirrel, gets caught up, and he is going to be eliminated unless he can pull off an absolute miracle here. It's a tight bunch through the forestry section. Angry Bird leads them up the hill. Here goes Hugh Man up the inside. I think he's going to manage it this time. Yes, he does. A beautiful overtake. Hugh Man definitely not one to mess with, but he slows down in that final corner. Larry almost catches him, and those three drivers make it across, and unfortunately, it's going to be goodbye, Lando. It was very disappointing here for Jazz. He was in the lead, but unfortunately, he just saw a squirrel or a rabbit or something, and then just seen him sideways. And then despite his best efforts, Angry Bird just was not able to hold off the challenge from Hugh Man. He was pushing a little bit too hard. You see his rear end get a bit of air there. That slowed him down and allowed Hugh Man to take the win. So with Jazz out, it's time for Puff to join the team driving Billboard. Gets a goal, he gets up on two wheels through that first section, and it looks like actually both of the Outlaws might be out. That is super disappointing after Larry had such a good run, but Hugh Man and Willie Wild now just walking away with this one. Looks like an easy win for them. Oh, and once again, Frank jinxes another driver as Hugh Man takes himself out, and Willie Wild is just going to cruise on down to be the only car to finish. That is super disappointing. Maybe one of the Outlaws actually survived. Hugh Man definitely gone, burgers. But no, Puff is off the track and Larry is over on his side, so unfortunately both those boys get eliminated. So what actually happened there? I didn't quite catch it. Well, you see on the replay, Puff goes up the sidewall and then bounced off the track, and unfortunately Larry just landed on the sidewall and it flipped him over. And then Hugh Man slams into the sidewall. Oh, and he knocked that poor chick over. So Polluted and Last Chance now coming for the Outlaws, and Flat Out Fred for the Mavericks. Oh, Last Chance looked like he got up on the sidewall, might have pulled a Puff there by mistake. And Flat Out Fred pushing right past Polluted. What a great overtake there. Todd doing a great job to actually keep the car under control and not just get spun out. All three drivers make it clean up Magnus Mountain, and Flat Out Fred challenging his own partner for first place there. But all three drivers close right up into that final straight and will cross the line, but unfortunately Blaze Man is out. Yeah, real disappointing for Last Chance, but just like Puff in that last race, he just goes way too hot into this first corner, gets his wheel up on the sidewall and bounced around. He's lucky he didn't flip completely off, but that's enough to eliminate him. Well, speaking of elimination, we are down to the final four drivers. If any of these guys get eliminated, it is going to make it very tough for their team to win, and Kerfuffle out to a monster lead over the rest of the pack. Todd in the background, he is going to have to pull something off if he wants to stay in this. Oh no, Kerfuffle's down. He is on his roof. Oh, but he's back up. What the heck? What just happened? I don't believe my eyes. Kerfuffle was wedged in the corner. Then Flat Out Fred came through, knocked him over, he lands on his roof. Look at this, he goes up sideways, gets wedged right in that corner tight. I thought that was going to be it for the race. Flat Out Fred comes flying through, knocks him loose, and unfortunately ends up off the track himself. Then Willie Wild comes through, hits Kerfuffle, he flips out, bounces off the tree, and somehow drives himself completely back on the track, and all three drivers get wedged in the switcher, but that's okay because they finish on their wheels, so they get to carry on. And then there were three. The pressure is on the bought cars. Willie Wild has to win this. Oh, Todd with a nice overtake of Kerfuffle there. Kerfuffle now running interference. They need Willie to come in last place here so they can move on. They don't want to risk any accidents here. Todd leading them down, Kerfuffle all over him. Looks like these boys are still racing hard. Willie Wild in third place there, and he is going to be eliminated. So this is all Outlaw final as we get to the final two cars. Well, there's been a ton of action so far, and Todd leading out, but Kerfuffle's not going to go down easy. You've got to know that. And here we go, kerfuffle with a beautiful overtake. Downstate Highway 1, Tyler's going to have to close that gap if he wants to get past him through the Joker lane, as Crazy Canuck gets a little bit loose going up Magnus Mountain, but he keeps it together, and he is going to run through the final section into the final straight, comes down, takes the win in a 29.1840 time. What a way to finish that off. So just as I predicted from the start, Outlaws, never in doubt, they took it out nice and clean. Well, I definitely wouldn't say never in doubt, because they also got down to their final two drivers just like the bought cars. They had nothing in reserve, and then Crazy Canuck, with all of the luck in the world, to crash, get hit, crash again, and then get flipped back onto his wheels to take the win. That was ridiculous. You call it luck, I call it great driving. Either way, congratulations Outlaws, another win chalked up and built versus bought. Alright, that's enough from us today. Thanks very much for watching. I'm Tom Spanners Watson, he's Frank the Guru Gibbs. We look forward to seeing you next time.